Hey guys, what is cracking? It's Krakenation here, coming at you guys today with the next installment of our competitive analysis videos. Today we are going to be talking about none other than CETITAN. CETITAN is an absolute unit of a Pokemon. Pokemon that's got some competitive implications and some changes thanks to the changes to Hail becoming Snowscape we're going to be talking about a little later. That makes it really competitively interesting and kind of puts it in an interesting context of where these Snowscape teams are headed. So guys, let's start off by talking about the abilities here. Thick Fat, Slush Rush, and Sheer Force are all pretty competitively viable abilities. Thick Fat obviously is having Fire type and Ice type damage, which can mitigate your Fire type weakness. But Slush Rush and Sheer Force are two abilities that we're going to want to be talking about a lot more today. Slush Rush, first of all, is a lot more competitively viable now than it ever has been before. And we all know that Sheer Force, at least hopefully you guys know or are learning for the first time maybe here, that Sheer Force is an absolutely monstrous ability. We've seen a lot of Pokemon that you would not expect absolutely dominate thanks to the ability of Sheer Force being so competitively powerful, giving so much extra power thanks to that way it interacts with Life Orb. If you're not familiar with the way Sheer Force and Life Orb interact, what happens is that when you run Life Orb, normally you get a 30% attack boost with a 10% recoil damage per turn. Now, Sheer Force, what it does is any Pokemon move with a secondary effect, such as, let's say, Fire Punch, 75 base power, I think it's like a 10% chance to burn or whatever. It loses that 10% chance to burn, but gains an extra, is it 20 or 30%? I think it's 30% damage afterwards. I'm not sure which one of those it is. I think it's 30. But anyway, it gets an attack boost, but loses that secondary effect chance. But also the way it interacts with Life Orb recoil, you lose the Life Orb recoil as well. So now you get the Life Orb boost, you get your Sheer Force boost, you lose the Life Orb recoil, and you lose your little 10% chance to burn or whatever, which all couples together to make this an absolute monster offensively. Taking a look at its stats, we're going to take a look at the 170 HP stat, obviously going to stand off the page. Now with 65's 55 defenses are a little lackluster and kind of mitigate that awesome HP stat, but 113 attack coming off Sheer Force boosting is very, very powerful, and it also has the ability to run a lot of very viable Slush Rush sets, which is very cool. 73 speed is not that good. It's okay. It'll outspeed some defensive Pokemon, but for an offensive metagame, as crappy a typing as defensive typing as Ice type is, you're going to need to rely very heavily on this thing, HP stat, and taking hits if you are going down the Sheer Force route. So taking a look at notable moves, I obviously have a lot of Ice type moves here, being Avalanche, Ice Shard for priority, Ice Spinner, Icicle Crash are all options. I think the Icicle Crash will be the best option overall. It gets a Sheer Force boost because it has that flinch chance, and on Slush Rush sets, it's probably your most powerful option. You could run Ice Spinner if you wanted, but you kind of trade off a lot with Icicle Crash's flinch chance. Now, if you're a person that misses a lot, you're probably just going to want to run Ice Spinner like me, but Icicle Crash is probably the way to go on most competitive sets. Furthermore, Earthquake is another good covered move, superpower to hit steel types, gets a couple moves like Rest and Sleep Sock that might be helpful. Like I said, Ice Shard's good for a priority. Liquidation and Play Rough notably also get that Sheer Force boost and are also just its best covered moves in general, so those will be omnipresent on most CETITAN sets. Taking a look at that said CETITAN sets, this is the Life Orb Breaker set that I've been kind of talking about. We talk about the way that Life Orb interacts with Sheer Force. We're going to run Icicle Crash, Liquidation, and Play Rough. All those moves get that Life Orb Sheer Force boost, and then you can pick in your last spot Earthquake, Superpower, or Ice Shard. Ice Shard's cool because it gives you some priority options, and then Earthquake and Superpower are really important for this Pokemon because it gets the ability to hit Steel types that it otherwise was not hitting, and kind of were walling its powerful Ice type attacks. For EVs, we're going to go Jolly Nature, 252 attack, 252 speed, but you have some choice and some discretion here. If you wanted to run a 252 HP, 252 attack, Adamant Nature, CETITAN, that could also be very viable, help it take some hits a little even better, as well as an extra attack boost from the Adamant Nature. You could run Adamant with 252 speed as well as an option. I don't love that one. I think I would probably go for this one, but you know, you have some choices here because it's at a speed tier that isn't super crowded. I think what's going to be the CETITAN's most competitively viable set is this Slush Rush variant. I'm running a Life Orb here, which is probably, I think, going to be the item of choice, but you also can make an argument for heavy-duty boots on most CETITAN sets, just because Ice typing and off in general, and any Pokemon that can use heavy-duty boots tends to really appreciate using heavy-duty boots just to take extra 25% damage less every time you come in. So otherwise, you're going to really need to heavily rely on hazard clearing and things like that. So heavy duty boots a consideration, but Life Orb will help you get the damage that you really need on a CETITAN set that now doesn't have Sheer Force because you're running Slush Rush, so you're going to be missing an 113 attack stat after you remove all those factors. Is good, but can be kind of underwhelming. We're definitely going to want to run 252 attack, 252 speed, and then Jolly Nature here, but you could go Adamant because Slush Rush under Snowscape now will be doubling your speed stat. Icicle Crash is going to be your go-to move, but again, Ice Spinner for all the aforementioned reasons could be viable. We're going to run Liquidation, Play Rough, and then Earthquake or Superpower to hit those steel types as well. Taking a look at just some big picture concepts with CETITAN, we're going to take a look at the pros. Solid natural bulk because of its great HP, and then great offensive power when you run the Sheer Force variant. But if you were to run Slush Rush I believe is going to be more viable than ever because of the way it now interacts with a certain teammate that we're going to talk about on the next slide. Awful defensive typing, however, does hold back even a good HP stat. It's got a usable move pool for sure, but it's very shallow, so you kind of know when you see a CETITAN, oh, these are the moves that these are the only moves it can run pretty much, which makes it not very versatile. Poor speed does hold back that Sheer Force, and that Sheer Force set, as well as mediocre defenses, also holds it back, and makes Slush Rush sets obviously a little less viable, which is why those Slush Rush sets need heavy support from a particular Pokemon, and that's going to be taking a look on our next slide. That's going to be Slowking Galar, because Slowking Galar inexplicably is somehow now the only Pokemon that gets this new move called Chilly Reception, which what the move does, Chilly Reception, when you click it, it sets Hail and then pivots you out, kind of like U-turn or Baton Pass a little bit, but you also set Hail. Hail, or now called Snowscape, also boosts defenses of Ice types by 50%, really helping CETITAN out on that front. Furthermore, it also doesn't do chip damage anymore against non-Ice types, which is kind of a bummer for a Hail team, but kind of probably good overall because now more Pokemon can fit on Hail teams. So Slowking Galar ends up being a no-brainer on any Hail-oriented team, and CETITAN is now a no-brainer teammate, or I should say Slowking Galar is a no-brainer teammate for CETITAN. They're in the same vein. If you're running a Slowking Galar, then other Hail teammates might really want that, and then also you can kind of do this thing where you overwhelm your opponent's Hail answers by running Hail Sweeper after Hail Sweeper at them. If you are running a CETITAN as a Slush Rush mon, you're going to want to run it with some wall breaking teammates so that it can make use of its ability to clean, because it doesn't have a lot of immediate power, but it is going to be fast and hit decently hard. If you're running the Life Orb or Life Orb Sheer Force variant, it will actually be more of a wall breaker itself, in which case offensive cleaners and sweepers really appreciate that. Another thing I could have added here is hazard clearing. If you aren't running heavy duty boots, hazard clearing is going to be very helpful to extend the longevity of your CETITAN. Biggest threat to CETITAN, bulky physical walls, especially bulky waters, will be a problem. CETITAN doesn't get a lot of great coverage to hit them, unfortunately. Its Ice type moves are resisted, and furthermore, even though those Pokemon now don't get Scald is a move exclusive to only Volcanion, you're going to be in a little bit of a pickle just because you don't really have a great way to hit them, and they may still be able to recover off the damage or something. Powerful priority users can still overwhelm Slush Rush sets because Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, Vacuum Wave are all things that CETITAN is unfortunately weak to and will get through your Slush Rush. Any hard-hitting offensive mon, because you are at 73 speed, that's pretty underwhelming, and your bulk is good because you have so much HP, but it's not great because you're held back by those defenses. And a lot of Pokemon are going to be like 90 or 100 speed and be able to click like a Close Combat or a Stone Edge or a Fire Blast, and then CETITAN's going to lose 70% of its health, and you're going to be kind of sad. So you're going to want to be careful about situations like that, and want to run some team support accordingly. Guys, let me know what you guys think about CETITAN. I think it'll be really fun on Slush Rush Hail teams. I'm really excited to try that with Slowking Galar. That's going to be a beastly combo, I'm sure of it. And let me know what Pokemon you want to see next as well. I want to know what you guys want to see so I can make videos to help you guys on your journeys in the Paldi region, how you are going to be the best competitive player in Generation 9 that you can be. I also really want to let you guys know that we have our Discord server down below in the description box. You can join. We're going to be running Draft Classic 9, which is coincidentally also the first generation. We're going to allow Generation 9 Pokemon. You can kind of get in there, get a chance to get some high-level battles in with some Draft League format if that's what you're into, or even just join our Discord server, come chill, hang out, talk about Gen 9, ask some questions. It's the best way to ask me questions, find out more about, competitive format in general. It's got great community in there. We have a lot of really active members, and we'd love to see you in there. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more things like it, definitely rate, like, subscribe. If you want to keep hitting that notification bell so you can keep getting notified when I'm releasing this content, I'll be coming out with it very often, at least for these next few days, weeks of the beginning of Gen 9, so I'm making sure to keep you guys as updated as possible. But otherwise, I will see you guys later. Krakenation out.